for stopping back by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. And while we're at it, if you would, please like and subscribe. Make sure after the video to leave a comment as well. One of the things I wanted to address real quick was GMRS licensing, just a few little questions about it. I've had somebody mention that it was $100. It's not. It's $35 now. They lowered the fee not too long ago. I think it was 70 something before that. But it is $35, and there's no testing requirement. You can get your GMRS license really pretty quick. The hardest part is the FCC website. You have to get their universal licensing service number and then do your application, pay your fee, and the application is really a formality, name and address, very simple stuff. Now, navigating the site is a little tricky because it's an old clunky style site, but it works if you keep at it. Most people get their call sign pretty quick, and they don't send out a physical copy of your license, but you can print it out from the site, and not bad to have it printed out. I know sometimes new users to either amateur or GMRS are sitting there thinking, okay, I've got to identify my transmissions. How am I going to remember that call sign? That's really going to be hard. And at first, yeah, sometimes it takes a minute. If you'll notice, I have got my call sign for GMRS there on the back of my radio. My amateur call sign is on the back of this radio. I did that when I first got them, partly to identify them as mine in case, I was at a meeting or something and I left it sitting around and it's like, okay, well, whose is whose? And the other part was so that I would have a reminder in front of me if I needed it, because sometimes the brain cells just don't brain cell. So it's life. Anyway, so one of the questions that had been on my mind was who is allowed to use my GMRS call sign. I was under the impression when I first got my license that anybody in my household could make use of the GMRS call sign, which I've kind of operated under that assumption for a while. Not that I've been handing out radios to a lot of folks, but my little girl, she's 8, she and I sometimes talk on this, and she is remarkably good about remembering and repeating the call sign, sometimes a little more frequently than I'd like, because it's almost every every little back and forth we have, even within a span of 2 minutes, and it's a little much. You don't have to identify quite that frequently, but in any case, I was preparing to gift a few of these TDH3s to family, and some of them are not in the same household. And I was operating under the logic that, well, in the event of an emergency, they would make use of it, and that would be okay, because in the event of an emergency, one of the principles of amateur radio, at least, is that anybody can use any frequency to get any help they need in a life-threatening emergency. So it came to me as I was researching something else, that it doesn't have to be family members in your household. Your GMRS license can apply to you and your spouse, your children, your parents, your grandparents, your grandchildren, your stepchildren, your step-parents, your in-laws, your aunts, your uncles, your nieces and nephews. And that covers quite a bit of territory. So anyway, what I plan to do then with these radios is I am going to include my call sign on there, and I'm going to include a little bit of information about it. Now, a couple of the individuals I'm handing off radios to, well, one, I guess, is under the age of 18 and so can't get his own license yet. But all the others can, and at some point maybe they will. Maybe they will get their license and have their own call sign. But in the meantime, they can make use of my call sign on the service, and I'll have some information on correctly identifying and what they should do. But that is something that I had misread in the rules. And I think that's about it. I wanted to mention though that if you're interested in getting your ham radio license, that there is a great a site that we work with. It's called hamradioprep.com. They have given us a special code that you can enter at checkout for 10% off of their courses on amateur radio licensing. They have a Baofeng course. They have some HF courses. They have courses for the technician, for the general, and the extra license. And so if you're looking to upgrade your license or get it for the first time, they're a great resource. So our code is RadioComms, RadioComms, and you enter that at checkout. We also would receive a little bit of a commission if you do that, so we appreciate it if you would. That would be great. If you're looking for a little bit of training and classes, that's a great resource. They also have an emergency communications course, which I think is really great. And so that I'm kind of interested in that, to hear what they have to say as far as net procedures and how to properly conduct these nets. I've heard a lot of nets. I've participated in nets before, but I've never run one. I know some of you probably have. But what is the best way to do it in an emergency communication situation? I've heard some really good examples of them, but it'd be nice to have a course and to kind of brush up on those skills. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop me a comment down below. And thanks. You all take care.